Tony D and Little Joan with Screenwriter's Rant on Fremont, a black and white movie that feels very much like an art house flick. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 12 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle Unlimited is free. Excuse me. So this is about an Afghani immigrant who is just trying to live her life, and it's one of those movies. It's very art house. It's black and white. It's very slow. It's meant to be kind of dry and on the one hand slice of life, but on the other hand kind of, and I'm not saying it's pretentious because I don't think it is, but it kind of pretentious. So there's a lot of moments in these kinds of movies that the filmmaker will focus on. It's a different kind of experience, I think. Like, you know, if you go to see Marvel movies and you love them, there's nothing wrong with that, but those are roller coasters. These are more like, you know, when you sit in the train that goes around the amusement park and it goes very slow at like 2 miles an hour and you just kind of see everything. That's what these kinds of movies are. So the Afghani girl meets a guy. Will she end up having a life? She feels bad about having a life. She works at a fortune cookie factory, which is kind of fun. So it's one of these quiet movies. It kind of reminds me in terms of its pacing a little bit like Wes Anderson kind of movies, although not as elaborate. I prefer it a little less elaborate. I mean, I like Wes Anderson movies, but it seems nice. It seems like a movie I would check out. It seems like a movie buff movie, if you know what I mean. It doesn't seem like a general audience kind of thing. Maybe some people would see it, but mostly it would be an art house movie. You and your snobby friends would go and talk about it. But it doesn't seem all that pretentious, that it's about an Afghani refugee worrying about Kabul and where she fits in with the world. It kind of speaks to what's going on today. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, somebody in Hollywood writing it, if that makes any sense. It feels like it's, you know, kind of voiced by somebody who's got a little authenticity. It says a film by Babak Jalali. And I guess at some point she goes to a therapist, maybe? I don't know. So written by Carlina Cavalli, and Babak Jalali, directed by Babak Jalali. Yeah, I would see it. It feels like a movie I would see at like a graduate level film class. Oh, I shot it in black and white because I'm cool. I mean, I don't mind the aesthetic. I don't really think again, I don't think it's pretentious, but it's bordering on that. It's like coming right up to that line. But the material seems to be fairly authentic. Is that the guy from The Bear? I can't tell. So first act, she's living her life, working at the fortune cookie factory, wondering how she fits in with the world, I guess. And then not sure what really changes, but she kind of wants her own life. And then she meets a guy, wonders if she can have her own life. How can she do that when so many people back home are suffering, kind of thing. So maybe she has a little sort of survivor's anxiety, if you know what I mean. But this isn't going to be like a big, huge, satisfying ending. It's probably going to be more like a very quiet kind of like, oh, you got to think about it kind of ending. So maybe she gets with that guy or has a date with him, and that's kind of it. And along the way, there's some quirky characters. It looks like the guy from The Bear. I'm not sure. Along the way, there's some quirky characters, and like IndieWire says, it's quietly magical. It's probably a very quiet movie, low key. If you're kind of tired of all those movies that kind of come at you, yeah, I would see this. I would see it. I like these kinds of movies. I don't know if it's for everybody. In select theaters, August 25th, so that screams art house movie. Here's the write-up. Each morning, Danya leaves her tight-knit community of Afghan immigrants in Fremont, California. She crosses the bay to work at a family-run fortune cookie factory in San Francisco. Danya drifts through her routine, struggling to connect with the culture and people of her new, unfamiliar surroundings while processing complicated feelings about her past as a translator for U.S. government in Afghanistan. Unable to sleep, she finagles her way into a regular slot with a therapist who grasps for prospective role models. When an unexpected promotion at work thrusts Danya into the position to write her own story, she communicates her loneliness and longing through a concise medium, the fortune cookies inside each cookie. Danya Cones Travel. What? Danya's Cones Travel. I don't know what that cones means. Koans. Travel, making a humble social impact and expanding her world far beyond Fremont and her turbulent past, including an encounter with a quiet auto mechanic who could stand to see his own world expanded. Tenderly sculpted and lyrically shot in black and white, Baba Jalali's Fremont is wry, deadpan vision of a universal longing for home. Now it sounds more pretentious. There's a bunch of quotes about the movie. But I still would see it. I don't know. Writing her story in fortune cookies seems very pretentious. But the rest of it seems fine. So it says a cross-cultural comedy that explores the freedom of being lost and the exhilaration of finding oneself. I don't know. And here's the other thing I'll say. I had no idea this was in San Francisco. Everything I've seen coming out of San Francisco is a hellscape. Like, where's the hellscape? You're telling me this woman goes to and from work in the San Francisco and doesn't see the people living on the streets? Where's the impact of that? Seems like you should see a little of that. Seems like she would have an interesting perspective on that. I don't know. Maybe I would see this movie now. It does look like the guy from The Bear. I don't know the actor's name. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a date movie. It could go either way with it. Is that San Francisco? Is that the streets of San Francisco? I don't know. Now, I'm not saying everything should portray San Francisco in a negative light or whatever, but, I mean, there's a lot going on there that kind of should come out in the movie, you'd think, but maybe I would see this. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check me out tomorrow at the Cinnaminson Library at 6 p.m. for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. What else? I'll be doing a Zoom call on Thursday if you're interested in that for the New Jersey State Library. The link is in the description. Go to my page with all my appearances. You can go to the link and then register if you want to hear my talk if you can't make it to Cinnaminson tomorrow night or to New Jersey. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you.